Howdy, and welcome to Info Plus. Today, we'll tell you about 10 excavations that uncovered strange and scary things that will blow your mind. Let's go. Number 10. Gockley Teep. Here is yet another location where people have tried to find reasons but have been unsuccessful. Gockley Teep is unique because it is 11,000 years old and is apparently the first structure of its kind made by humans that has been found. As a point of comparison, it is almost twice as old as Stonehenge, which makes it very, very old. And yet, despite the fact that many people travel to Turkey to see the spot and learn more about it, no one knows why it's actually there. That doesn't mean we won't figure it out soon though, and there have already been some small clues about what the people of Gockley Teep were like. But it's still a mystery why they built this megalith. And unless something big happens, it's likely to stay that way. Number 9. Copper Scroll Treasure. Who's ready to go on a treasure hunt? There is supposedly a prize waiting to be found, and the only thing standing in the way of its discovery is a scroll from the DeadSea that no one can fully comprehend. If you didn't know, the DeadSea Scrolls are the oldest Christian Bible works we know of. In many ways, they are the most important sacred objects ever made. Not long after the first set was found, another piece on copper was found. This one was about something else: wealth. The Israelites must have hidden their treasures so that invaders couldn't get to them, and they wrote directions on a copper scroll for those who would find it. The problem is that there is no clear starting place for finding these treasures because of time and changing landscapes. As a result, the treasures may still be out there, but no one knows where they are. Number 8. Ark of the Covenant. Are you ready for another story from the Bible that may make you cry? Don't worry, Indiana Jones. That only happens if you look right into the light. Anyway, the Ark of the Covenant is one of the most important holy objects of all time. This is the prized chest that will hold the actual 10 Commandments tablets, like the ones Moses got from God after climbing a mountain to talk to his Lord. The 10 Commandments and the Ark have been hailed as one of the most important religious objects of the Jewish people ever since that meeting. In fact, they are so holy that they were once taken into war with them so that God would be on their side. Anyone who touched the Ark without God's permission was killed right away. Nobody has any idea where the Ark of the Covenant ended up, so things get a little complicated there. The location of the first temple, which the Babylonians would take, is very clear in Jewish history. And since that happened, no one knows where the Ark is except for tales and stories. Some people who say that the Jewish people hid it to keep it out of the hands of invaders. Others think it was actually stolen and is now in the hands of some wealthy people. And of course, there's Indiana Jones, who found the Ark, and after it was examined by top men, it was taken by the U.S. government. We'll probably never know what actually happened to the Ark or where it is now, but if it is ever found, I'm sure people will be careful around it. Number 7. King Tut's Tomb. Now it's time to talk about the tomb of King Tutankhamun, which is one of the most important historical finds in human history. This find helped to spark a lot of interest in ancient Egypt and the wonders that could be found beneath the sand. But it's also a place with a lot of mysteries and scary things that could happen. For instance, you probably all know about King Tut's curse, or the Pharaoh's curse, which hit the people who found the tomb and the young ruler. But that curse was just a trick to keep people from stealing from graves. On the more serious side of mysteries, some people wonder about King Tut's family, especially who his parents were, since no one seems to know for sure, even though some small clues have been found. When you think about who ruled before and after King Tut, you get another set of mysteries. Since it's a line of succession kind of thing, you'd think history would be clear on the matter. But that's not true at all, which leads to what might be the biggest mystery of all. Why was King Tut's tomb so small? Because, if you think about it, this king was apparently well known, but his tomb was anything but grand. Why would the people of ancient Egypt put their dead leader in a tomb that wasn't very good? Nobody has an idea, which is why people are still looking for an answer. Number 6. The Antikythera Mechanism. Here's a device that still puzzles people despite the fact that we do actually know what it does. The Antikythera Mechanism was found in a Greek shipwreck. When examined, archaeologists learned it was actually a computer. Not a digital one, of course, but an analog computer made especially to assist sailors and other people on boats in performing calculations that would help them know what was coming up next on the cosmic calendar. And that's where the mystery comes in. How did the ancient Greeks know how to make such a device? That would be a pretty complicated set of calculations that they would have to figure out and then work on in order to place into a computer that sailors could use. Is this the first computer ever made? Maybe. Number 5. The Voynich manuscript. Now we'll move on to something that no one understands for a different set of reasons. The Voynich manuscript is a book that was made in the 15th century. It has writing and pictures from the author, but no one knows who that author is for sure. But that's not the whole mystery. What actually makes it up is only a small portion of it. No one knows who the author was or why he or she wrote this book the way they did. By that, I mean that the book can't be read in the literal sense. No one knows what's going on between the words and pictures. Professional code breakers and writers have even tried to work on the book, and they are now stuck on this point. Perhaps it's best if we never figure it out, or perhaps we may find the answer soon. Number 4. The mystery of Stonehenge. As was already said, a certain ruler united China and gave the country a new start. But before that, there were many smaller countries that fought for control and power all over the land. This one was one of the most difficult. It is believed that this area had many innovations that helped it stand out from other Chinese kingdoms. But then they just disappeared. It took a long time for people to come up with a good reason for people to leave their homes in this area. But a natural answer, like natural tragedies, may be the answer. It is believed that there was a big earthquake 3,000 years ago that caused floods and other bad things to happen. And when they did, it just stopped the water flow to the country. And like many other cultures, they have to leave when the water runs out and go live somewhere else. It wouldn't be the first time that something terrible like this forced a group of people to move. Number 3. The Cat-Shubid Wall. When we talk about certain walls, you may think that we are going straight to China or Westeros or another one. But that's not what we're talking about here. I'm talking about the Cat-Shubid, a 93-mile-long wall in Jordan that I know. What, besides the length, is so strange about this wall? Well, it's not clear who actually built it or what purpose it served. For example, unlike some big walls, the Cat-Shubid is only 3 feet high, which would make it hard for a rival group to get over, but not impossible. Also, there were towers on both sides of the wall. What served that purpose? Some may think it was to keep horses from going outside their borders, but do you really need a 93-mile-long wall for that? Number 2. The Cockno Stone. We now talk about the Cockno Stone, which is a piece of rock that has a very strange relationship with the surface. This means that the thing has been buried, dug up, and then buried again to keep it safe. Now, the stone itself is from the Bronze Age, and it is covered with strange marks. Plus, it's not a small rock by any standard. It's actually 42 inches by 26 inches. So think about burying and digging up the thing many times. For its own safety from vandalism, it is apparently still in the ground right now. But we all know that it could be dug up again if people wanted to. Number 1. Ice Mammoth Hut. It's always a memorable find when people discover the bones of Ice Age creatures or people that have long since been extinct. But the question is always about how the bones are and what they may show. That's when this discovery starts to seem strange. Because you see, a structure in Russia that dates back 25,000 years was just found. That by itself would be a big deal. But when they looked at what the structure was made of, they saw that it was actually made of the bones of a mammoth. That means that whatever group of humans was around 25,000 years ago was able to kill enough of these ice mammoths to actually make a structure out of their bones. There are a whole lot of bones there. Apparently, it was also acting as a kind of food store.